I'm here at Beacon Orthopaedics today, standing with John Walker. John, welcome to the program.
Thanks.
John is a physical therapist. He's also a certified strength and conditioning specialist. He works with a lot of professional athletes, and we're talking shoulder pain, but we're not necessarily talking about shoulder pain with athletes, but rather the everyday person.
Correct.
And so what's going on with the shoulders in today's world?
Shoulders are getting to be more and more of a problem for just the general population and also into the athletic population. Commonly we see a lot of what's called impingement or rotator cuff tendonitis, and 9 times out of 10 that's due to just some overuse. And as an active population, we tend to overuse our joints, including our shoulders, primarily, which causes some pain.
Okay, and I'm sure strengthening, there's ways to prevent this.
Correct. Flexibility, posture, and strengthening, I think, are the keys to correcting and preventing some of the shoulder discomfort that we're experiencing.
And John has agreed to show us some of this so that you folks at home can actually incorporate this into your fitness program to avoid coming here to Beacon Orthopaedics to see him. So very kind of John to do that. John, I'm going to turn it over to you, and you'll learn some really neat things here.
All right, thank you. All right, so for me, the key to shoulder pain is flexibility, and Matt here is gracious enough to be my demonstrator. As a population, we have a tendency to let our shoulders come forward, let our head come forward, and we get into a real rounded posture, which causes some discomfort here in the shoulder. So go ahead and round your shoulders for me. So a lot of us look like this, and we cause a lot of discomfort in the anterior part or the front part of the shoulder, as well as the side here. One of the keys is to go ahead and correct that posture, and what we tell our patients, when I like to tell my athletes, to my just everyday hard workers, to go ahead and squeeze those shoulders back and down. And that's one of our main exercises to get you can see our shoulders are now in line with our ears, and we also our rotator cuff and the muscles around the shoulder are going to be able to function more effectively and more efficiently. One test I like to put people through to see if they're having any type of rotator cuff tendonitis or shoulder pain is to go ahead and bring their dominant arm, which is commonly where you have the most pain, across their arm and lift up. So we're going to go ahead and bring Matt's across. He's going to lift up. Usually you'll find pain here in this shoulder here, his left shoulder. If he does, then I think we need to work on some flexibility exercises. And Matt's going to demonstrate a few stretches for us. One is going to be the cross body stretch, which is going to stretch out this posterior rotator cuff that comes around the shoulder blades into here, into the shoulder. We usually hold that for a good 30 seconds or so and do it around 3 times. The next is going to be an overhead stretch, which is going to stretch the inferior. It's going to stretch part of the lats. It's also going to stretch part of the inferior capsule of the shoulder to help create some more space in the joint so we don't have what's called impingement or rotator cuff tendonitis. Again, 3 times for about 30 seconds. Once we get optimal flexibility, we tend to get into some rotator cuff strengthening. Rotator cuff strengthening involves a multitude of things. Usually there's some overhead, front, and side raises, which Matt's going to demonstrate here in a few seconds. Also some rotational work that'll really emphasize the rotator cuff. First, Matt's going to start with just some overhead raises. The first motion we teach is to go ahead and squeeze those shoulder blades, and then squeeze them back and down, and he's going to go ahead and lift. We don't ask him to push through any type of discomfort or pain. If he has discomfort or pain, we'll limit the range of motion to about shoulder height here. That takes a little bit less stress off the rotator cuff. The next forward raise is going to be out at an angle. Again, our emphasis is on squeezing the shoulder blades down and back. Again, if he has pain, we stop short. We only go to the shoulder height. Next one's going to be a lateral raise out to the side. Commonly, we prescribe 2 sets of 10. We don't like to overwork or overtrain to cause more discomfort. Go ahead and stop. Next is going to be some rotational work. To put his arm in a correct position, we give him some elastic resistance, put the towel roll under his shoulder, helps take some strain off the rotator cuff, and then he does some rotational work, which is one of the main rotator cuff functions. Commonly, it's again 2 sets of about 13, or 2 sets of about 12 to 15. No pain, no discomfort. That's pulling in. The next one's going to be pulling out. And those are some of our core rotator cuff and shoulder pain prevention exercises. If you start to notice that you're starting to have some shoulder pain, please feel free to come see us at Beacon Orthopaedics, and we'll help get that discomfort out of there, prevent injury, and get you back to function quickly.